At 1:29 p.m., a drone lifted off from Iran's southern coastline and locked course directly toward the USS Abraham Lincoln, a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier carrying 5,700 Americans. The Iranian operators running this mission thought it was routine, just another surveillance run. Collect some footage, hand it to the propaganda team, call it a win. They had no idea they had already lost. What the Iranian operators couldn't see was an F-35C stealth fighter from Fighter Attack Squadron 314, the Black Knights, already sliding into position directly behind their drone. No radar active, no radio traffic, no electronic emissions of any kind. The F-35 had been on combat air patrol 30 miles east when the strike group quietly vectored it onto the contact. The pilot didn't push the throttle or power up a single sensor. The entire intercept was passive because the F-35 carries something the Shahed-139 has no ability to detect or defeat: its distributed aperture system. 6 infrared cameras embedded flush around the aircraft's body stitch together a full 360-degree thermal picture and feed it directly into the pilot's helmet visor. These cameras detect heat silently, no emissions, no giveaway. To the IRGC operators watching their satellite feed back in Iran, everything looked normal. Clear sky, calm sea, the carrier formation slowly filling the frame. They had no idea a stealth fighter was sitting right behind their drone, cataloging everything. Every frequency the drone's satellite link used, every command signal its controller transmitted, every electronic emission from its sensor package. That data doesn't just track one drone. Once you know the frequencies and encryption protocols, you can track every drone in Iran's fleet that runs on the same architecture. Iran sent a drone to spy on the carrier. The carrier sent something far more dangerous to spy on the drone. By 1:34 p.m., the F-35 was close enough for its electro-optical targeting system, a high-resolution infrared and optical camera under the nose, to get a clear look at the drone's hardpoints. The report came back to the carrier. Shahed-139 confirmed. Hardpoint configuration ambiguous. Possible missile rails. No confirmed weapon load. That answer made the commander's problem harder, not easier. The Shahed-139 is not one of Iran's throwaway Shahed-136 kamikaze drones. It's their most capable reconnaissance platform, a full-sized aircraft with a 2,000-kilometer range, launched from deep inside Iran, where its operators are completely untouchable. Its hardpoints can carry guided missiles, camera pods, or sensor packages. A confirmed weapons load would have ended the debate immediately. Armed drone inbound, shoot it down. An empty airframe would have resolved it the other way. Surveillance flight, let it run. What the pilot was describing was the gray zone between the two, and the drone was advancing a football field closer every second the Navy hesitated. Meanwhile, 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers escorting the Lincoln had already locked fire control solutions on the drone through the strike group's shared tactical network. These ships are engineered to intercept ballistic missiles at Mach 8. A propeller-driven surveillance drone cruising at highway speed was not a challenge. The firepower was ready. The decision wasn't. Iran had every legal right to fly in international airspace. Nuclear talks were scheduled 3 days out. Shooting down a surveillance drone 72 hours before those negotiations would hand Tehran a propaganda gift and a reason to walk away from the table with the moral high ground. The clock was running in 2 directions. Every minute, the F-35 shadowed the Shahed-139. Its passive sensors built a more complete electronic fingerprint, satellite frequencies, encryption patterns, command protocols. That data was an intelligence goldmine the US would spend months exploiting. Shooting early wasted collection time. But every second he waited, the drone closed another 42 meters towards 6,000 American lives. At its current speed, it would cross the optical resolution threshold in under 4 minutes. After that, every frame it captured would be operationally useful. Flight deck layouts, aircraft positions, defensive configurations, the kind of imagery you build a strike package around. The F-35 had been collecting for nearly 5 minutes. The commander had what he needed, and he remembered 2016, when a Shahed-139 121 buzzed the USS Harry S. Truman's flight deck, and the Navy let it go. Iran posted the footage on state media. The IRGC bragged publicly that they could surveil the American fleet whenever they chose. That precedent had echoed through CENTCOM for a decade. This commander wasn't writing the sequel. 2 words crossed the tactical net: weapons free. The F-35 pilot didn't need to maneuver, didn't need to activate radar. The AIM-9X Block II Sidewinder missile had been tracking the Shahed-139's heat signature for minutes. Engine exhaust, warm wing surfaces, the propeller disc glowing against cold ocean air. One trigger pull. The missile left the rail at just under Mach 3. A seeker designed to lock fighters pulling 9G turns and pick them out from flares and background clutter found a propeller drone flying straight and level with no countermeasures, no jammer, and no evasive capability. It wasn't a contest. In Tehran, the satellite feed cut to static mid-frame. Tasnim news agency later reported they lost contact during a routine surveillance flight. They didn't mention the Sidewinder, or the 5-minute intelligence donation they never agreed to make. But as U.S. intelligence began processing the Shahed-139's intercepted satellite uplink data, they found something the IRGC never intended to transmit. Embedded inside the drone's command protocols were coordination timestamps, synchronized to the minute with a second operation already underway, 500 miles away. Iran hadn't sent a drone to spy on the carrier. They'd sent it to distract the carrier, and the F-35 had just stolen the proof. At 1:38 p.m., minutes after the Sidewinder turned the Shahed-139 into debris, 6 fast attack contacts appeared on the Stena Imperative's bridge radar, inbound at 40 knots from the Iranian coast. The tanker was 3 miles into the Strait of Hormuz. At 15 knots, she had 24 minutes before reaching open water. The IRGC needed fewer than 15. The bridge confirmed the worst-case scenario. 6 fast attack craft in a V formation, low-slung fiberglass hulls built for one purpose. Bow-mounted 50-caliber machine guns with belts loaded, boarding equipment staged on deck, grappling hooks, ladders, armed men in tactical vests. A Mohajer surveillance drone circled overhead at 5,000 feet, streaming everything live to an IRGC command center that expected this wrapped up in time for the evening news cycle. The IRGC had run this play before. They seized the Stena Imperative in 2019, same shipping company, same water, and held the crew for 71 days while the world issued statements. Same formula every time. Surround, board, present a hostage crisis that takes months to unwind. The formula only worked if they finished before anyone with real firepower showed up. At 1:41 p.m., the Stena Imperative's captain did exactly what merchant captains in high-risk zones are trained to do. He pushed to full power and fought back. Fire hoses pressurized to 120 psi, capable of knocking a man off his feet at 30 meters, went over the sides. His helmsman threw the rudder hard to port, then hard to starboard, churning a wake that turned every boarding attempt into a rodeo. At the same time, he keyed Channel 16. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Stena Imperative, Strait of Hormuz. 6 military vessels attempting to board, requesting immediate assistance. 15 knots against boats capable of 50 wasn't an escape plan. It was a way to keep moving while praying someone was close enough to hear the call. The IRGC's timing was calculated. The Lincoln had spent the morning dealing with a drone now scattered across the Arabian Sea. Carrier aircraft at full afterburner needed close to an hour to cover 500 miles. The IRGC needed 15 minutes. By the time naval aviation arrived, the tanker would be under Iranian control, and Tehran would have leverage heading into nuclear talks 3 days away. The logic was sound, but only if the aircraft carrier was the only American asset within range. It wasn't. At 1:44 p.m., the guided missile destroyer USS McFaul went to flank speed from 12 nautical miles southeast. She was there because the Navy learned from the Stena Imperative humiliation in 2019. After that seizure, CENTCOM started rotating destroyers through the strait independently, specifically so the next boarding attempt would meet a warship instead of a press release. At 1:45 p.m., Channel 16 crackled with a new voice. American English, no hesitation. IRGC vessels harassing merchant shipping in the strait. This is a United States Navy warship. Break off immediately and return to port.
At 1:46 p.m., the McFowl cleared into view, nearly 9,000 tons cutting through the strait at flank speed, bow wave throwing whitewater 20 feet high, her Mark 45 5-inch gun trained directly at the IRGC formation. Above them, F-15E Strike Eagles out of Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, 300 miles away, carved contrails across the sky at 20,000 feet with targeting pods already locked on the boats below. The boarding attempt stopped. The boats kept circling, too proud to break off, not willing to keep pushing with a 5-inch naval gun closing from the southeast and strike fighters stacked directly overhead. Channel 16 again. IRGC vessels. This is Coalition Warship 7-4. You have been warned. Break off now. At 1:49 p.m., the lead boat broke formation and opened throttle toward Iran. 3 followed immediately. The last 2 peeled off seconds later. The disciplined V formation that had looked formidable 11 minutes ago scattered into 6 separate wakes, all pointed home. The Mohajer drone recorded the entire retreat for an IRGC command center that expected very different footage. The McFowl escorted the Stena Imperative through the remainder of the strait. Crew safe, cargo intact. 1/5 of the world's oil supply still flowing through the choke point, as if Iran had never left port.